Welcome back to our podcast on cracked pot mentalities. In this podcast, we're going to be talking through some of the things that have kept us from walking in the fullness of everything that Jesus paid for us to have. And so this week, we're actually going to be talking about disappointments. And this is a big one. And I think this one is a key to many of the others that we are going to be talking about. So if you missed anything, if you didn't get to see episode 1 in this series, I would strongly encourage you to hit the pause button and go ahead and go back and find that video. It's called Cracked Pot Mentalities, and begin to watch that because it's going to kind of set the stage for what we're actually talking about here in this series. So I want to just talk about disappointments today. And I know this is not a favorite subject for anyone, but it's so important because how we handle disappointments is going to show the way that we can proceed and the way that we see ourselves and ultimately the way we see God. So we've all seen the movies where the main character is stuck. Maybe something has happened to them from a parent, a spouse, a close friend, and now they are having a hard time seeing anything good in their future. It's very skewed. Maybe they are hardened to life or people. And as you watch these type of movies, or at least I know I do, if you're watching them like me, you're wishing that you could just tell them, let go so that they can love again. Let go so they can hope again and walk in the fullness of life that you see is ahead of them. So today we're going to be talking about that because we're going to be talking about disappointments. Now, this is like I said, this is a really big one, and it will lead us into the next topics that we're going to be talking about as well. So if you've missed anything, make sure that you go back and watch the beginning and make sure to follow through because this is all going to conclude in a way that we can actually see how God can bring healing and wholeness to each part of these things in our soul so that we can walk in the fullness that Christ had for us. So it's not that we won't or we can't deal with disappointments. It's really how we handle the disappointments that will come our way here on planet Earth. You see, disappointments that are not dealt with actually can lead to death. Kind of like we talked about that movie character. They can kill hope, and hopelessness kills faith, and it tells us that God is not good and therefore cannot or will not be good to us in the future. It makes the heart sick. Let's break down the word disappointment for just a second. So disappointment is defined as unhappiness or discouragement that results when your hopes or expectations have not been satisfied, or someone or something that is not as good as you hoped or expected. Now that's not my definition. That's actually the definition that I found whenever I was looking to be able to define and break down this word, and I think that's so important. I love this definition because it uses the word hope. Someone or something that is not as good as you had hoped or expected. Wow. So we put our hope in something and our expectation attaches to that hope is crushed. Does that not define it? If we do not deal with that, it can lead us to a place where we do not dare hope again for fear of more disappointments. Let's be honest here. Disappointments hurt. And what do we do with them when we know something is going to hurt us? What do we do with that? Well, we avoid it or we go around it. We find ways to not experience that anymore. It's human nature.